Hi, my name is Amber Ramirez, and today I'll be giving you a sports analysis for tennis. Tennis is an intermittent high-intensity sport played either in singles or in doubles. Single courts are the dimensions are 23 by 0.77 by 8.23, while doubles are wider, so it's going to be 23.77 by 10.97, which would just basically require different movement patterns and spacing. The sport is defined by short explosive rallies, separated by structured rest periods, and then players performing rapid acceleration, lateral shuffles, uh, rotational strokes, frequent changes of direction. Because single players must cover the entire court alone, the sport demand will be different. We have quick anticipation and precise technique, while in doubles, the focus shifts towards fast reaction, coordinated net play, and then quick exchange. For the physiological demands, we have that tennis is built around short bursts of effort, right? So most points last about 4 to 10 seconds with 10 to 20 seconds rest in between. Because of this, it's ATP PC systems, which is the main energy source for explosive movements. While the anaerobic system, yes, it does help with longer rallies. We also have that the heart rate specifically stays around 70 to 85% of their max, which with spikes over 90% during intense rallies. The aerobic system is important for recovery and helping the players to sustain performance throughout long matches, right? And overall, like tennis just requires the ability to produce quick, powerful movements repeatedly while recovering efficiently between points. For biomechanical demands, we have that tennis requires fast, multi-direction movement and powerful rotation and strokes, placing high demands on your lower body, trunk, shoulders, everything, right? So players are constantly accelerating, they're constantly decelerating and changing direction, which places a lot of stress as well on the lower body. All strokes follow through the kinetic strain. So it starts within their ankles, within their legs, moving towards their hips, the trunks, and then of course then finishing with the arm and then the wrist. The serve, I will say, is one of the most demanding movements that the tennis players have to experience during the match because they're involving explosive leg drive and um, rapid shoulder rotation. Then going into position type differences, I will say just I chose singles and doubles as position types because that's how tennis is played. For singles, players cover the entire court alone, so they perform more movement, longer rallies, and then high overall physical demands. While doubles, they share the court, so leading to shorter movement distances, faster exchange, focusing on quick reaction and coordinated play. For high-speed running sprinting, tennis players rarely do reach maximum sprinting speed. They're constantly changing direction. They're constantly braking, so they don't really reach that max sprinting speed. So of course, for these players, they spend most of their time in low to moderate speeds, which only brief bursts that are too short to reach that top velocity. However, training maximum sprinting speed improves their acceleration, horizontal force production, and then lower body power, which directly supports their on-court movement. Common injuries that we see within tennis players, we have that they have shoulder tendinopathy, the rotator cuff, which they're normally at 10 to 20%. Lateral epicondyle. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's the tennis elbow. They're going to be at 15 to 25. This I don't know how to pronounce this either. However, it's a wrist tendon injury. So that wrist tendon is going to be at 18 to 12%. Low back pain is going to be at 10 to 20%. Ankle sprains at 10 to 15, and then hip and groin at 6 to 10%. Going into a little bit about the workouts, I chose multi-directional, acceleration to decel, and then of course speed endurance. For multi-directional change of direction, I decided to get a little bit creative. So I decided to do a split step in tennis. So the split stance is basically them being like on the balls of their foot. When they hear a command, they're going to shuffle 5 meters, plant their foot, and then work on that crossover step to get back to the original position. Then we'll have a diagonal acceleration to a hard stop and back pedal. So they'll accelerate diagonally for 5 meters into a controlled stop, back pedal to the start. Same concept, difference is they're going to sprint forward 5 meters, stop, shuffle laterally for 5 meters, and then backpedal to the baseline. And that will be it for the first workout. For the second workout, where we're going to be working on acceleration to decel, we're going to be on that split step position. They're going to accelerate for 5 meters, and then that is it. Then we'll go into diagonal acceleration. So they're going to accelerate 5 meters diagonally, getting into a hitting position. And that's what we'll focus on there. Then we'll have lateral acceleration to an open stance. So what is the difference between an open stance and a split stance? Open stance is going to be more static, so their foot are going to be into the ground, while the split stance, like I said, they're more on the balls of their feet. So what they'll be is starting in that open stance, and they're going to push laterally 5 meters into a controlled stop. Then we'll have kneel to sprint, where they'll go forward or diagonal. So they'll be starting into that kneeling position. They're going to accelerate 5 meters. So they'll do 2 reps each leg, and then they're also going to do 2 reps each leg going diagonal. Then for the last workout, for speed endurance, we have baseline lateral piece shuttles, diagonal recovery runs, and then we have wide ball patterns. And these are my references. And that is it for the tennis sport analysis. Thank you.